everybody, I'm so glad that you're watching, and for the few of you who came. We have a small turnout again, 2 in a row, but it is close to North Country and in North Country, so it does sometimes become tough. I get it. But for those of you who came, thank you so much. I am here in Oswego, right? Oswego County is where we are. Yes, Oswego County. This is stop number, I believe, 54, if I'm not mistaken, of 62. We are still rocking and rolling, covering the entire state of New York, trying to get people to understand that we are the party that has actual answers. The thing I want to bring up today, if I could, for the couple of you show, thank you. For those of you who are watching, there are a lot more of you watching, I think, today. Those of you who are watching, I want to bring up an important idea that we bring up constantly. In North Country of New York State, there's a base, Fort Drum. Fort Drum has, I believe, the 10th Mountain Division is stationed out of Fort Drum, outside of Watertown. For those of you who know North Country, you know what I'm talking about. We are so up, you're talking about, pro-military, as we should be. I'm a former Marine. Support our troops, absolutely 100%. Defend our country, absolutely 100%. But does that mean we have to have a military-industrial complex? It doesn't at all. And if you ask anyone who's out there running, if you're a Republican, it's like throw more money at the military. If you're a Democrat, it's about let's just, let's keep fighting the wars, but let's not throw money at the military. Neither is the right answer. I don't want us fighting wars. I don't want us throwing tons of money at the military. But Larry, how in the world can we keep us safe? How can we have a safe, savvy, defend our borders, keep our nation safe, and not have a massive military? What most people say is just cut the military, cut the military. This is no different than the random defund the police. You don't just want to cut. You want to make sure, sir, how are you? No worries, I'm happy. We're live now. So glad we have more people coming, which is great. I love it. Thank you for coming. The issue I want to bring up here, though, is we don't have to just have a cut the military or just explode the military. There are many ways of making this us working with this. The first thing to remember is the military-industrial complex is a jobs program. It is a huge jobs program. If you just end the military-industrial complex tomorrow, you've just put millions of Americans out of work tomorrow. Well, Larry, don't you want to get rid of the military-industrial complex? I do, just not overnight. I want to recognize what it is. It is a massive jobs program. Remember, about 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 Americans works with government. The government is always two things, a monopoly and a jobs program. If we keep those two things in mind, that's how we begin to adjust and shift and change. Step number 1, first step in making this happen is think about how we're going to reorg the military. And we're going to have to reorg it completely. Reorg it so that it's effective, it works, and that it still does its job and a whole lot cheaper. Number 1, we are spending time, money, and energy building lots of tanks. We don't require them. I'm not joking. Our military.
Yards of them parked.
Say again?
There's yards of them parked.
That is correct. Literally in the southwest of the United States, there are yards of thousands of tanks parked, not being used. That's absolutely true. Thank you. I would like us instead to have 3 parts of our military, and only really 3, with a 4th one on the side I'll talk about in a second, but really just 3. Number 1, we have to have a nuclear deterrent. We have to retain a nuclear deterrent. We do not have to have 80 bazillion nuclear bombs, not required. Enough to devastate any country in the world is all we need. That's what's kept us out of nuclear war since 1945. Because if either one attacks, we devastate them, they devastate us. Mutually assured destruction has kept us safe when it comes to nuclear weapons. So let's get just enough to do that. I'm actually okay, in theory, I haven't done the details on this, if we break apart a nuclear triad and only have 1 or 2 or maybe all 3 of them still. I don't know what the right answer is for that. If you want to get rid of the bombers, maybe that's the right answer. I'm okay even considering that if that's the right issue. But again, I'm happy to talk to experts about that. Either way, 1 small nuclear arsenal that can devastate, completely destroy any nation on the planet. Step 1, that's it. Number 2, we have to have special forces like there is no tomorrow. We already have the best special forces in the world. Navy SEALs, Force Recon, Rangers, Mountain Division here in New York State. We already have them. We need more of them, and just them. The idea that we're going to have to worry about a massive tank battle on the steppes of Russia is a fantasy. That's not going to happen. That was World War II. Those days are long gone. We're not going to have that anymore. We don't require that anymore. There is literally no nation on this planet that's going to invade us. If that changes, maybe we change our military. But at this point right now, there is no nation on the planet that's going to invade. The Chinese are not going to come across our border. The Russians are going to come across our border. And I am not prepared to send American soldiers, Marines, and sailors to fight in Ukraine. I'm not prepared to do that at all. Don't do that. Instead, lots of special forces. Why? Because many of our enemies in the future are not going to be state-run actors. They're going to be individual actors, like the Osama bin Ladens of the world and people like that. They're going to be that type of person, that type of group. So an invasion is not going to work. So what do we do instead? Think about this, if you would, for a second. What if after 9/11, instead of us invading two countries for no reason, instead, we took all of our special forces and just went after Osama bin Laden and his crew. That's it. That's all we did when it comes to military. Just that. We'd actually done just that. Most experts would agree. If you ask any experts you happen to know, we probably would have caught him within 2 years. Within 2 years, we would have caught him. We'd either executed him or put him on trial or whatever is the appropriate thing. Fine. Teach a lesson. If you mess with us, your response is death to you and those around you. That's it. We don't have to invade Afghanistan. We don't have to invade Iraq. We don't have to invade Syria, bomb Somalia, bomb Oman. Not required. Or bomb Yemen, sorry. We did bomb Yemen. None of that. Just get him and walk out. Second thing, we then take all of our bases in the Middle East and slowly move out of all of them. Abandon them all slowly. Get out. Now it's 2003, if you would imagine. We have no bases in the Middle East anymore. None in Bahrain, none in Saudi Arabia, none in Iran, none in Iraq. We've never had any Iran, but none in Iraq, right? None in Afghanistan, none of them. And Osama bin Laden's dead. How does the Middle East affect us at that point? Not much at all. Well, Larry, the Chinese might move in. Larry, the Russians might have moved in. Great, then they can fight those wars. Awesome, good for them. No worries, they can get caught in that quagmire in Syria or Iraq or Iran or Afghanistan. Good for them. They could do that. We could sit back and sell them all weapons. I don't have a problem with that. We'll sell them all the goodies, sell them trucks, sell them whatever they want. Good to go. Ford makes great trucks. Buy those. All good. Sell them all those things. We could do that instead. Changes everything. So I want us to have, without question, good special forces to deal with non-state actors. And the third piece, cyber. Here is where we're hurting. We are hurting in cyber. We are not as strong as we should be, and we need to be. We have a very super strong offense and defense cyber military arm. Offense and defense, both. Because defense, of course, to stop the attack, but offense as another MAD, mutually assured destruction, cyber. But Larry, what about guys like Putin who are going to affect our election, or guys like China who are going to dump stuff into our markets, whatever? No worries. Putin, you want to affect our election? No worries. What about I give you, I don't know, say 3 Chernobyls next week? Why don't you take 3 Chernobyls next week? Yeah, he doesn't want that. But if we have good cyber defense and cyber attack, then he can't do these things. That's how you deal with state-run actors. Non-state-run actors is dealt with by special forces. State-run actors is done with cyber attack. How about we shut your entire grid down for the next 6 months? How about we explode your nuclear plants? Any of those things. Insert cyber attack here. Whatever that thing is appropriate. And I don't know everything. Of course I wouldn't, but our cyber team would. Those are our 3 pieces of defense and offense we should have as a military, and then a 4th piece is secondary. And that is, we should have a Navy that can assist the rest of the world in guarding trade. As long as we have it, that will assist. And that might mean keeping a few bases someplace. It might. I'm okay. Even joint bases someplace with the goal of just stopping pirates from attacking trade ships. That's the goal. Just keep the trade so we can trade back and forth, the ships back and forth. Maybe we keep one in Diego Garcia or something like that, right? Perhaps that would work. I'm okay with that. But that's what we have to worry about. We do that, and we have all of a sudden have an effective military that defends our country, keeps us safe from cyber attacks, keeps us safe from nuclear attacks, keeps us safe from terrorist cells, does all the things we need, and spends maybe 1/3 of the money, maybe 1/3. But I'm still not done. We actually have a military-industrial complex out there, which includes our bases, which includes foreign aid. What most people don't know about foreign aid, and we say, Larry, foreign aid, we got to get rid of foreign aid. Foreign aid is also a jobs program. In many cases, I think my cases fly can just came to me. Yes, in most cases, We're going to drop for that, whatever, $50 billion in foreign aid to country A. Country A says, thank you for that $50 billion. They take $10 billion, put it in their pocket of all the elites in their country, and take the other $40 billion and they buy weapons from us, creating jobs for us. So we can't just end foreign aid either. We can't just take all the bases away because all money going through there, right? What do? 2 parts. Part number 1, we begin to immediately look at every base that we have. Stop all of the active wars as of 30 days. Why 30 days? Very simple. Any president can do this. Any president can just say, Congress, you have not declared war. You must declare war in every theater that we're fighting in right now. Tell me who the enemy is, who we're fighting. You have 30 days. If you don't declare war and tell me who the enemy is and how we're fighting them and who we declare war on, I'm withdrawing troops. Done deal. Totally constitutional, totally fine, 30 days. They're not going to. There is no way Congress goes, yeah, we're at war with Syria. Never going to happen. That is now our impetus to tell our generals, let's start bringing our troops home. Let's begin to bring them home, slowly but surely. Bring the troops home. Where do you put the troops? You bring them home. As you begin to bring them home, all you do is put them on the border for now, which makes many people happy, until they're discharged. Now you begin to limit everyone who re-enlistments. You begin to limit re-enlistments and limit recruiting. And that's how you slowly draw down your military. If you bring everybody home and discharge them, you've just put hundreds of thousands of people out of work. Families who thought they were going to be working for the government for the next 3 or 4 years, now gone. You bring them all at work. So bring them back, let them finish out their contracts. We made a contract with them, whatever, 3, 4, 6 years, whatever was your contract when you joined. Finish your contract. Very few will be able to re-enlist. And now limit new recruitment. Drawdown. But I'm still not done. Every base now, all of our bases in every country we're in like 100 countries. We're in tons of countries. We have an agreement, either an actual peace treaty or a treaty to have a base or some status of forces agreement. We have some form of agreement. All those agreements have opt-out forms in some way, shape, or form. Go through all of them and slowly opt out of all of them. Letting the people know who the countries are in. We're leaving at the end of this. If this is a 3-year, 2-year, 10-year, at the end of it, we're out. Now they know. So they're not caught in the loop. They know, okay, you know what? The Americans are gone in 2 years. The Americans are gone, and we begin to bring the troops home from each of those bases and shut them down. There's a problem, though. As we shut those bases down, and as we bring troops home, we have a problem. Where are those people going to go now and start working? Here's how we deal with this. We now take every single country that we've been fighting against and that we can't trade with, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, and we open them up and say, you know what? If you're going to trade those countries, go. Good luck. Why would that matter? Because all of a sudden we've opened up at least 3 new markets immediately. And what do we have a bunch of? People who've been living in foreign countries, who understand foreign countries, who now can transition from the military-industrial complex into an actual manufacturing world where they can go trade and make agreements in other countries. So now you're funneling people out of the military-industrial complex into the regular market. So we can get those jobs back without putting people out of work. That's how you bring down the military-industrial complex. With that goal, that's how you keep us safe, keep those jobs, don't just punish people, and make things actually work. This can be done. It's not crazy. It's not insane. It can be done. And it can be done by a president with just by simply following the Constitution. You can do this by following contracts that we already have. We don't have to break one contract. We don't have to hurt our people. We can still keep jobs, and we can turn America in literally 5 years. In 5 years, maybe 10 at the most, we could turn America into a country that doesn't drop billions upon billions of dollars into a military-industrial complex that doesn't produce anything. It doesn't produce anything. And that all it does is increase the odds that more Americans are going to be hurt, killed, or maimed overseas. We have over 1 million Americans on disability in America as veterans. Over 1 million. And still 22 veterans every day commit suicide. Still. You want to stop that? Stop creating veterans.
No, they don't like funding wars on the back end. They like funding on the front end. Deploy, coming back. It's not as big a concern.
Absolutely, yes, exactly right. Yes, because there's no money in them coming back. There's only money in them going over.
Out the door.
Exactly right. Yes, and they just keep going and keep going and keep going. right? And you might think, well, Larry, are you anti-military? I'm not. Of course not. I'm a Marine. Of course not. Right? Of course not. Sir, how are you? Excellent. Come on in. Come in. We're live. More people are coming. So nice. Yes. So, yeah. So my point being, am I anti-military? Of course not. I'm a Marine. Right? If the Chinese were to come across the border and attack New York, yeah, I'd be the first guy to be willing to leave his legs in the streets of Manhattan. I would. I would. If I got to sit in a wheelchair because I fought to save my city, I would. But why would I want to leave my legs in the streets of Minsk or the streets of Baghdad or Fallujah? Why would I do that? I wouldn't want anyone to do that. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to ask you or your children to do it, so I wouldn't do it. But my own country, of course I would. And we can make that happen. We could have a country that's not all about military. We'd have a country that's trading. I know people will say this. Larry, you can't trade with North Korea. They're crazy. You can't trade with Iran. They want to kill us. You hear it all the time. Here's the reality. If you know people in Iran and the Iranians, I know a couple, many people do. The actual average Iranian doesn't hate America. They hate our government. They love us. They love America. They love our culture. And the best part is, if we actually want to beat Iran or beat North Korea or beat Cuba, it's not with bombs. It's with our culture.
There's no defense against that.
No defense against our culture. How do we know that? Because still to this day in Iran, they arrest people in Iran for listening to our music. That happens still to this day. In Iran, they arrest people who listen to our music. They know they'll be arrested if they listen to our music. They know America's the evil enemy and listen to our music. To your point, there's no defense against our culture. Give them our culture, they will become better. That's how it works. But we don't. We give them bombs. And then we worry why they don't like us. And they worry why they fight us. And then why do they hate us? All we do is bomb them. I don't know why they hate us. Crazy how that works. I have an idea. Trade with them. You want to make North Korea overthrow the Kims? It's not by bombing them. It's by making them want to listen to our music or watch our TV or enjoy our hamburgers or whatever is the thing that they like in Korea. I don't know if they like in Korea. Whatever they like in Korea, it's that thing. Maybe our pizza. Our pizza's really good. So maybe it's our pizza. Whatever it is, they're going to want our stuff. That will have them. Remember, people don't change because things are bad. People change because there's hope. Right? If people will say the same thing. Larry, when are things going to get so bad that people change? Never. People just stay bad. It's literally a thing called learned helplessness. People just stay helpless. What happens? When is there a revolution? When do people step up? When there's hope. The best example I can give you is the Russian Revolution. 300 years, the Russian state serfs under the Romanovs. It did nothing. It was devastated under the boot of the Romanovs for 300 years. It's give or take, what, 60 generations? Is my math right? No, 150 generations, right? Whatever that number is. A lot of generations, right? Lots of generations. I don't know if my math is right. A lot of generations, right? So all those generations, they just stayed underneath the Romanov boot. And then hope came. Sadly, the hope was communism. But that was hope for them, right? They had a choice, under the boot or the hope of communism. And if you don't know any better, communism sounds great. So they said, wow, better than a boot on my neck, hope, revolution. We can create that too, but our hope has to be freedom and liberty. If we give that hope to Iran or Cuba or North Korea or whatever, then they'll change themselves. That's not a quick fix. It isn't. That's a multi-year, maybe multi-generational fix. Maybe a multi-generation, absolutely. But it also isn't a, let's get those guys. It's not that either. But it's a real answer. And it's what our movement's about. Libertarian Party is about real answers, long-term solutions that actually work. Violence, if you listen to my last goal I was talking about, violence is a very good short-term solution. I don't have money. I rob this guy. I have money. Good short-term solution. Long-term, we have a real big problem, right? But short-term, work perfectly. Same thing. There's one other piece that people will talk about when I discuss this. They say, but Larry, don't you want to stand up to Putin? Don't you want to stand up to the Chinese? And I say, well, why? Well, why? Okay, Putin wants to shake his fist and say, I'm the strongest guy in Europe. Yeah, you are, brother. Buy my Fords. Buy my cars. I'm the strongest. You're so strong. Yeah, you are. You're the strongest, Putin. You're so strong. Absolutely. How about, can I get another McDonald's in there? Can we get Pepsi in there too? How about some apples? Can we sell some apples can we sell apples in Russia? We can? Awesome. You're the strongest. I don't care. He can be as strong as he wants to be, take off his shirt and wrestle a bear if he wants. I'll clap. Well done. Putin, you're the strongest of them all. Can we sell some more stuff can we sell some corn over there? Everything we can sell. Take all my stuff. You can be the coolest, savviest guy in the world. Just buy my stuff. I don't really care. Just let us do well and live together, and you can shake your fist at whomever you want to shake your fist at. And we don't need NATO. We don't need any of those things. Let him do whatever he wants to do. And this is the thing, but Russia might take over Europe. First off, then that's your problem. But let's say I'm wrong. It's a big deal. We're worried about Russia taking over Europe. Okay. Are you telling me anybody here believes that if all of a sudden Vladimir Putin says, release the tanks, and the tanks start coming across Ukraine and move towards Poland, what do the Poles do? What do the Germans do? What do the French do? What do the British do? Nothing? They're helpless without us. Is that what you think? Not just that, the French and Brits, they got nuclear weapons. We're okay. There's no chance of Putin taking his tanks and rolling across Europe. That's 60-year-old thinking.
They
But
don't have the army anymore.
they don't have the army anyway. They would never going to do it. Plus, here's the worst part that people don't understand. There's no longer any value in taking up land. Land isn't the value. The value is in intellectual property. The value is in ideas and technology. The value isn't in land. You can easily get land. You just buy it from people. They give it all the time. The Chinese are getting their land from the African nations like there's no tomorrow without having to fire a shot. Without having to fire a shot. They throw some cash at them and they're getting the gold out. Done deal. You don't have to fire a shot. Say again? They trade with them and they get all the stuff they want. They don't have to fire a shot. They're not taking over Africa. They're not invading Ethiopia. That's not happening. They're not invading South Africa and not required. We are thinking that we're fighting World War II. We're not. Those days are over. We can have a happier, safer country with a smaller military. And I don't care if some guy wants to shake his fist and be tough guy. Great, you're tough guy. I love it. Let Kim Jong-un, he's firing missiles into the air against Japan. Okay. Are you telling me, and anyone tell me if I'm wrong here, does anyone think that Kim Jong-un is going to go, you know what, I'm nuking Japan? If he nukes Japan, what happens to North Korea?
Retaliation. Retaliation
isn't, of course, it's destroyed. It's eliminated. He knows that too. He knows that too. Well, Larry, how are you going to solve the North Korea problem? I'll tell you that too. This is foreign. I guess this is foreign policy at that time. I'll tell you that too. Why in the world can't we solve the North Korean problem? The reason is because we have troops in South Korea. North Korea is a buffer state between us and the Chinese. They don't want our troops on their border. I wouldn't want them on my border if I was them either. So first step, as I'm talking about earlier, remove troops from South Korea. We don't need troops in South Korea. Remove them. Remove troops from South Korea. Then start trading with North Korea. Trade with North Korea. And then take a troop out of South Korea. Once our troops leave South Korea, China is now open to talk to North Korea to begin to unite. They're open to conversations. Doesn't mean they'll do it, but they're open to it. Now if we start trading, the people will start getting upset because they'll want American stuff. The Kims will start getting scared. Now we do a very simple thing. We follow the Idi Amin rule, which happened in the 70s. Idi Amin, those guys don't know, was a Ugandan dictator. He died in France. He left and died in France. He left, died in France.
Made a deal.
Yes, he did. Let's copy that example, which worked in the past, and say, hey, Kim, you got a bunch of money, a bunch of generals. You've been stealing from your people for a long time. How about this? Take half of what you stole. Keep it. We'll broker a deal with the Chinese. You can buy a nice villa in Shanghai somewhere, live out your life there with all your money. Do that. Guaranteed he says yes. Because once he's isolated and his people are unhappy, he'll say yes. He'll pack up and go. We think we'll put pressure on him. Where's he going to go? We've said situations where he has to fight to the death. So don't. Go live in Shanghai somewhere, follow the Idi Amin model, go live there. What will happen? There'll be a big power gap in North Korea. What will happen? The Koreans will learn how to unite themselves. They are Koreans. They will figure it out. It's their country, not ours. They will unite. The Germans figured it out. We had to tell them how to do it. The Germans figured out how to unite East and West. They figured it out. They had bumpy issues. They still have them now. The North Koreans, South Koreans will have bumpy issues, but they're their issues, and they'll figure it out and they unite. And we can trade with them and us and the Chinese. Everybody's happy. Done. Easy day. Iranians too. Cubans also. All those issues. None of them have to be fought. There's no need for bombs. No need for invasions. It just makes things worse. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening to me talk about this. But the reason why I brought this up is I wanted to show people that we actually have answers and policies to fix things. If you ask Democrats, Republicans, all they have is shake their fist, Trump bad, Trump good. Say again?
The other person defines it's the other person.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely. And we've got to look good in front of the American, look good as an American in the world. I don't care about looking good. I care about my people being happy. Let them be happy. That's all I care about. So thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Yes, you want to. So thank you. Yes. So anyone have a question or comment that you want on camera, or I can always get off and they want some private time. So all right, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope it was interesting for you. I will see you all.